In this lesson, we're gonna explore emission parameters in emitter particles node. I like to delete everything and create the nodes from scratch. The main reason is that maybe the default scene will be changed in the upcoming releases of EmberGen. So to make sure you understand what's going on, let's create that from scratch. Let's go ahead and drop a scene node, and we're gonna drop a shading and light, ambient light, and we're gonna drop another light, directional light, and let's go ahead and drop the skybox too, and ground. As you see, creating the scene from scratch is so easy and so fast. And let's go ahead and drop a simulation node, and we're gonna drop the particle node, and let's connect that to the emitter, and this one to volume, and this one to the particles. And we need a shape. Let's go ahead and drop a shape, and I like to go to the simulation and change the size. Let's make the voxel count here maybe 200 and by 200, apply, and let's go ahead and make the shape a little bit smaller, let's say 1. I like to set the Y. Let's go to the simulation, let's set that to maybe 120 to lower the voxel count as my scene is slowing down. Okay, great. Let's go back to the skybox and let's see, let's go to the ambient light, increase that, and let's see the ground, it's grid, and let's increase the intensity, or let's go ahead and change that to shade. Okay, great. So now let's take a look at the emission parameters here. You can see we have the first one, it's called continuous emission. You can turn it off, and we have no particle. You can animate that, of course, by clicking there and animate the emission. Let's turn that off. And here we have the position, is the position of the emitter, and we have the rotation too. So let's go ahead and animate the position. Let's click on the position and holding shift and click somewhere here, and let's go maybe to frame 30 and make sure the auto key is activated. Let's go there, and from here let's go there, and then down. So now let's go ahead and play that. We have some interesting animation going on. So let's go to the emitter particles, and you can see here we have the emission rate. This is the rate of the emission. So if I lower that, we get less particles in the viewport. And I have the burst emission. This will burst the particle at one time. So if I click on that, you can see it bursting at one time. And because I have the continuous emission turned on, so let's turn it off so we can see just the burst emission. So you can see we have some particle burst just one time, and you can control the amount of the burst particle by coming here and lowering or increasing the value of the burst size. We have less particles, as you see. Let's turn off that, and we have the spawn on surface. This will spawn the particles on the surface of the shape. Let's go ahead and turn on that, and we have the jitter distance. So if I increase that, we're gonna get some jittering particles. They are distributed more around the shape. And we have the emission style. We have entangled. So if I click on this one's so interesting. So let's hit play. Let's go first and increase the rate so we can see what's going on. So now if I decrease that, let's say maybe 1000, and we should get interesting result. Let's decrease the jitter distance because this jittering distance destroying the shape of the entangle. So let's decrease it a little bit, and you can see we have really nice interesting behavior. You can use that for trail or creating wispy smoke, and you can control the count of that too. And now you can just add a little bit of jitter distance on that. And the other one is clumped. Basically this will clump the particles, as you see, and you can control the count from here. So as you see, some particles are clumping together. Let's go back to the regular, and here we have the emission condition. This is so interesting. We have, for example, the velocity higher than. So basically I want to emit the particles on certain speed. So let's set that for now to 1 because I don't know the speed of the emitter. So let's go ahead and let's see, maybe to 2. When it stops, as you see, it stops emitting. Let's set that to 0.5 maybe, and let's see that. So as you see, when it stops emitting the particles too. You can control that from here, and you can of course change that to velocity lower than, or inside or outside. This is so useful if you have an animated object. For example, if you are importing your character as FBX, you can use that to emit the particle when the character moves. So powerful feature in EmberGen. And you can come to the life. You can see here we have the lifetime limits. I can lower that. For example, I can set the min to 0.5 and this one to maybe 0.8. Now the particles will die faster. Maybe we need to lower it a little bit more, 0.3. So as you see, the particles are dying faster.